recently, but there was no actionable intelligence to launch an operation to wipe out or neutralize these particular terrorists. So as of now, a lot of these injured have been now moved to the local hospital and medical facility in Pahalgam. That's what we're being told. A lot of visuals on the screens also talking about the exact location. We have blurred this footage and in respect of the dead and the injured. But this is the exact location. You can see where this attack has taken place.
You can also see a camp right behind over there in this particular visual that we're taking a look at. Yes. Again, tells us that this is one of those places where tourists, throng in good numbers.
Absolutely. I can tell you, Kabir, that last year, in June, I was in Pahalgam and I went to all these trekking locations on a horseback. So I can tell you that, of course, there are hundreds and hundreds of tourists because this is a safe place. Pahalgam has always been a safe place. There's been no terror attack as far as my memory goes. There could have been in early 90s or late 80s, but in the recent memory, in the recent 2 decades, there hasn't been any kind of a major terror attack, leaving, behind this particular one attack of Anantnag, where, of course, a tourist bus was attacked, where pilgrims who were going to Amarnath, 7 of them Gujaratis were killed, unfortunately. Very interesting development also that the SSP of Anantnag, GV Sundeep, has only been transferred and promoted, and he is now the SSP of Srinagar, and only yesterday took over, and there's a new SSP that has come into picture. He would of course need time to understand the terrain, etc. But no doubts that the top brass of the J&K police, the Indian Army, the CRPF and the other paramilitary and intelligence agencies are on top of the situation right now. I'm pretty much sure that a strong response will be given to Pakistan, not just domestically in the form of counter-terror operations, but otherwise, and everything would be done under the ambit of the administration and the government to secure all the tourists and tell them that there's nothing to fear and everything will be done to protect the interests of the tourists under the law.
Well, General, do stay on with us. Aditya, you as well. Even as the security forces are conducting that search and cordon operation, trying to nail down where these terrorists exactly are, the political corridor has started talking about this terrorist attack. On your screens next is BJP leader Ravindra Raina.
कायर पाकिस्तानी आतंकवादियों ने दक्षिण कश्मीर के पहलगाम में पर्यटकों के ऊपर कायराना आतंकी हमला किया है। कायर पाकिस्तानी आतंकवादी भारतीय सेना, जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस और हमारे पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस के जांबाज वीरों का तो सामना कर नहीं सकते। इन कायर, इन बुज़दिल पाकिस्तानी आतंकवादियों ने कश्मीर को घूमने आए निहत्थे निर्दोष पर्यटकों को निशाना बनाया है। कुछ पर्यटकों को घायल अवस्था में वहां स्थानीय हॉस्पिटल में जेरे इलाज के लिए दाखिल किया गया है। सारे क्षेत्र की घेराबंदी सेना पुलिस ने कर दी है।
Now, General, let's again talk about the Bison. It's an area full of meadows. We know that this is a non-motorable tourist spot. The security forces have also made their way to the spot on foot and of course on horsebacks. Of course, the security forces are equipped, but the topography does come with its own sets of challenges. When you talk about securing this area again, what is it that the definitely need to keep in mind now?
See, firstly, Kabir, all the areas cannot be secured physically. There is obviously paucity of troops because the first priority is, of course, the built-up areas around Kashmir Valley and all the other areas, and more so than that, the troops are deployed on the counter-infiltration role along the line of actual control. Now, this is what the actual ground situation is. So, therefore, that is exactly what I was saying. Firstly, we have talked about this area. It's got beautiful meadows all around. But besides this, the areas, there are huge jungles there. So obviously, this becomes a very, very lucrative target for the terrorists because firstly, they know the tourists are unarmed, there is no protection. So they have come with impunity, they have struck them and melted into the thick jungles. And this is what exactly I was talking about intelligence. See, actionable intelligence in counter-insurgency areas never comes. It is very, very rare. In my experience, whether in Northeast or whether in J&K, to get actionable intelligence, and even today Israelis are fighting Hamas. They never had actionable intelligence. The whole issue is one of the biggest tasks of all leaders there, including the intelligence setup and police and everyone deployed. They have to carry out some assessment, evaluation, understanding. Now, some inputs were definitely there that a group of terrorists is operating around here. This input is very, very fair enough. Now, therefore, they have to carry out appreciation. If the terrorists are there, what could be their likely intent? What could be the likely target areas? How we could, that question exactly you asked, how can we prevent such terrorist area in such kind of a area where likely terrorist attack is there? Which are the tourists? There is no deployment of the forces over there. So probably this area, as I have also been there and many people would have been there. So this area definitely does not have the meters around, all around. There is no security there. So therefore now, one thing was known, terrorists are operating. Now it's a huge area. They can strike with impunity anywhere. They can strike on a road, they can strike on a convoy, they can strike on a tourist bus, they can strike on an individual tourist vehicle, they can strike on a group of terrorists who are relaxing in a hotel. So this is where the role comes of the entire state administration and the security setup, that they have to make possible assessment, and based on that assessment they have to do some kind of redeployment, some kind of domination of area. Maybe, one or UAV sorties could have been launched there, quadcopters. See, these are the things which have to be some kind of a deterrent. And mind you, the attack has been on broad daylight. This is another thing which the tourists will question, that what is the efficacy of our security forces there. So security forces obviously cannot be there everywhere, but the intelligence has to be assessed. That is what one of the main tasks is: assessment, understanding, evaluating, and thereafter realizing what could be the credible targets here. See, they will also like to strike a target which is the easiest for them, which is easy access for them, where they can melt away into the jungles. So based on these assessments, some kind of a redeployment, protective measures like launching of UAVs, some patrols, some kind of something has to be thought. Prevention is better than cure. This is what I thought, Kabir.
All right. Aditya, let's also take a look at the border diplomacy front. What kind of broader implications does this now hold for, of course, the border areas? Needless to say, the two countries we're talking about here. Intelligence, we've spoken about. Security forces are doing their job. Even as we're picking up on this credible information and treading carefully before we put it out there on air. Some fresh visuals that have also now come in, with the search and cordon operation of each and every vehicle being stopped, everybody on foot being checked as well, thoroughly, with their jackets being taken off. That's what the security forces are doing. What are going to be some of the broader implications on the border diplomacy front?
Well, India has not looked back when it comes to terrorism. Every time there has been a terror attack, we have not just been more vigilant, we have reacted to the situation, both to secure the lives of an ordinary Indian in Kashmir or otherwise, and of course to give a very strong response to Pakistan. Already Pakistan is isolated when it comes to Indian diplomacy. We do not give any kind of weightage to any kind of statements that come in from the Pakistani side. But there is of course presence of terrorists in Pakistan, and Pakistan for a very long time has provided a safe shelter to terror groups like the Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Toiba, Hizb ul-Mujahideen, Al-Badr and many others. And this is a globally known fact that Pakistan is the epicenter and the mothership of terrorism, at least since the last 3 decades or so. And India, particularly in the Indian Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, has borne the brunt of this entire development. Now, this terror attack will certainly wake up the entire system, both politically and when it comes to security. I have now some sources telling me that the number of injuries may actually increase and may actually cross the number of 20. But I'm waiting for an official confirmation for the same. In these screen, we can see the exact location. It's a small 7-second video of the exact location when the army unit reached there. We saw, of course, this one particular unfortunate dead body lying there of the husband of the lady who made the first PCR call from that location in Baisar and Pahalgam. You can see he has got a head shot injury. He has got bullets pumped into his head. And imagine, she says that there was only one terrorist who made this possible and then ran away after the terrorist attack inside the deep forests. And there are many injured who have now been rushed and evacuated to a medical facility in Pahalgam and in Anantnag. There are some who are believed to be critical. More details are still trickling in. as to their status, what exactly that is. And of course, this will not just encourage condemnation from the political class and from the security forces, but some very strong action as well.
All right, then. We're going to slip into a quick commercial breather here, but like Aditya was telling us, that number very well could go up. We're going to wait for all corroborated information before we put it out there on air. General, do stay on with us. Aditya, we're going to slip into a quick commercial breather here. On the other side, we're going to continue to talk about what's really happened in Pahalgam. Don't go anywhere.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9. English news as.
I need expert living. I need my career.
Smash your way to glory at the News9 Corporate Badminton Championship. Get ready for the ultimate badminton showdown. News9 presents the biggest corporate championship, a battle of skill, speed and supremacy. Cash prize of 6 lakh rupees across categories. Venue, Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy, Hyderabad. Dates, May 9th to May 11th. A chance to showcase your talent and make a mark. The court is set. Are you ready? Register now.
Presenting sponsor, Srinidhi University. Kindle the light within. Venue partner, Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy, Hyderabad.
Bharat welcomes the world to a new era of creativity. Waves, World Audio Visual and Entertainment Summit. Connecting creators through Creatosphere. Wave Accelerator. Waves Bazaar.
Where stories, ideas and content go global.
Connecting countries through global media dialogue and Bharat Pavilion.
Shaping narratives and partnerships. Culture, cinema, gaming. Waves fuels the next wave of entertainment.
Connecting creators, connecting countries. Waves 2025.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9. English news as it should be.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We're continuing with our coverage of the terrorist attack on tourists in Pahalgam. This is in Anantnag district of South Kashmir. Baisaran, to be pretty precise, is exactly where the terrorist attack took place. What we're picking up at this particular point in time is that one tourist has been unfortunately killed in that terrorist attack. At least 6 to 7 others are grievously injured. That number very well could go up as well. This is an unmotorable area amidst beautiful meadows, picturesque valleys. That's where exactly the attack took place. The security forces are conducting that secure cordon off operation, checking each vehicle, asking people to take off their jackets as well. And because this is an unmotorable road, the security forces had to make their way at the Baisaran top, where the terrorist attack exactly took place, after a call was received by the police officials by a lady tourist telling them that their husband was grievously injured after a bullet injury to the head by an unsuspected terrorist who came out of the blue, started firing and then went away inside the deep foliage as well. General Sanjay Mestan continues to be with us on the broadcast, and of course General Sevach joins us on the broadcast here. Very warm welcome to the both of you. General Mestan, we were just talking about the importance of intelligence. Before we get the ball moving further, let me introduce of course General Sevach, who's with us on the broadcast. General Sevach, how are you looking at the developments that we've just heard of? That number of injured tourists could go up as well.
Absolutely. See, Kabir, why they have done this? Must understand why importance of Pahalgam. Pahalgam is a place which is a very important tourist center. And second thing is that this is a place from where the Amarnath Yatra will start. Amarnath Yatra starts from two places. In South Kashmir, it is from Pahalgam, where it takes 6 days. And in North Kashmir, which takes 4 days. But it is more popular to go from Pahalgam because since the route is not that difficult and it takes 6 days, it is easier for this. So very cleverly they have selected this. They are trying to send a message that all is not well. When everything is very quiet in Kashmir Valley, you know it, there are only 30 to 40 terrorists left. There is total peace and tranquility in South and North Kashmir both. And you will find a development taking place, record time tourism there. But this action of Pakistan ISI is very well calculated, and they have hit the economy of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, if the tourist will not come, it will affect the common man. And they have very cleverly selected area Pahalgam, because Pahalgam is also a junction. Once you cross Pir Panjal, you go to Doda Kiswar, and from Pahalgam, on the higher reaches, it is jungle as well as caves. So they have tried to escape in that area. And the way they have came, they were unsuspecting, they were possibly not wearing, taking a weapon also of AK-47, maybe taking pistol, but they have tried to now escape. But I can assure my viewers that the Indian Army will able to cordon them, utilize drones, utilize helicopters. We have special forces there, they will be utilized there, and they will be eliminated in a day or two. Kabir.
All right. General Meston, we've got those visuals of the choppers now doing the rounds, keeping a keen look at the meadows below. But like General Sivach was telling us, the timing has to be looked at as well. This is a terror attack that's taking place just before the Amarnath Yatra was set to begin. Both of you have mentioned how Pahalgam plays a crucial part in that journey as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Kabir. That's what I was also mentioning, that the Amarnath Yatra also originates from here. So this has been very properly selected by these chaps to target people in an area, where there was hardly any security and a very popular area. But the fact of the matter is, of course, we have discussed on intelligence, but now let's come on to the Pakistan. I think with Pakistan, there is only one answer to them. See, they will continue, and after this General Muni's statement, I think this is very, very clear. They are not going to give up. The only way to deal with Pakistan is, I think, we have to be 10 times tougher than them in every way. We have to do every possible thing. We have to be something like what the Israelis are doing. We cannot keep tolerating this Pakistan, and I think with Pakistan, everything we should cut off. I will go to the extent of saying, let's get our embassy back from there. Why we are having our embassy? Let's cut off everything with Pakistan. Let's isolate them diplomatically, economically, strategically, every way. In the world, they are, as it is, getting isolated. And then we have to use all the military possible options. Let's activate the line of control. Pakistan is going to suffer more. We have to use heavy firing, maybe any kinds of weapons. I would go to the extent, let's open up with artillery. Because if a strong message is not understood by Pakistan, then they will continue with these pinpricks, and these pinpricks are enough to demoralize our normal civilians from the rest of the country. After all, so many people would have done a lot of bookings there. Now let us see what is the impact of this terrorist attack, and therefore the state administration has to revive the security systems over there and give a SOH to the civilians, that things are okay. Such attacks will not be tolerated. Then only the tourists will continue, otherwise this will hit tourism. And as brought out even by General Sivach, this is a very, very important area for tourism, and this one, and obviously Gulmarg. So we have to be on guard, and intelligence, of course, I was stating, actionable intelligence will never be there, but we have to carry out assessment and think what all the possible options the enemy can explore to hit us, where can he hit, how can he hit, and how we can tackle him.
You're absolutely right. Insightful points and pertinent points that you've raised as General Meston. We're also learning of Srinagar tourists that are not being allowed to go towards South Kashmir and specifically Pahalgam, the most thronged place, as a precautionary measure. But, General Sivach, whilst we're talking about security agencies and their efficacy and ability to monitor and counter threats in areas that are specially frequented by tourists, but then again, these areas that are frequented by tourists are difficult to get access to quickly. That's a catch-22 situation. What kind of a challenge is that, and how do the security forces deal with it? Is it coordination with the local authorities and the people up there? There are several camps on these top reaches in Baisaran as well, where one of these visuals that we have had to blur out now just to respect the dead and the injured. this is a catch-22. You have to counter the threats, but these areas are frequented by lots and lots of tourists, and it is difficult to get access to these areas.
Very correct. See, Kabir, first of all, we must see it that even the terrorists have not been hitting this area for last about 20 years, because they know it that if they will hit the tourists, it will hit the local people and they will become very, very unpopular. Because after all, the economy is affected once you hit the tourist. Now, what has happened is that these tourists which have been either grievously injured or have been killed, it will send a very wrong message. The tourists which are there record time coming in Kashmir Valley and also in Amarnath Yatra bring lot of progress and development in Kashmir Valley. And there are people who are dependent on this only. Now, who are these people who have done it? Of course, the ISI would have gone it done. And how they would have done, these terrorists would have come in civil clothes, they would have been taken a lighter vehicle, in a smaller weapon, and they would have come very close, fired and gone. Very rightly brought out by you also and by General Matsin, that since the tourism is so much there and lot of tourists are there, it is not easy for to basically search each and every one. And you believe that everything is okay, but then such sort of thing can happen. Of course, there is an intelligence failure that need to be seen, but certainly what the terrorists do in summer in these areas, they go to the higher reaches. They go where there is a jungle, where there is heights, and they operate from there only. They don't come down because they don't want any lead to be given to security forces wherein they can be targeted. But at the same time, the security forces are now cordoning and searching as well as doing cordon search operation everywhere. We are utilizing drones, we are utilizing helicopters, and we have also special forces there in case such incident take place and these terrorists manage to go into the higher reaches. You should be able to basically locate them and neutralize them. That will happen. But certainly, now this incident will send a very wrong message to the tourists. And very correctly appreciated, Pahalgam is a place which is very important from the tourist point of view in southern Kashmir, and it is on the hub center where the terrorists can even go toward Kishtwar and also Doda after crossing Pir Panjal. Second thing is that Pahalgam is the place where Amarnath Yatra will start from 3rd July. And since this is the place where maximum tourists come for Amarnath Yatra, it will have adverse impact. And that's what was their aim. And that possibly looks to be the aim of ISI. And I agree on General Matson one thing. Time has come now, we must pay and hit hard to the Pakistani. Why are we having a ceasefire when the Pakistani are trying to bleed us with 1,000 cuts? They are still sending terrorists in south of Pir Panjal through Rajouri, Punch. Every day we are hearing this incident. Why are we keeping quiet? We must hit those posts. I remember having commanded a brigade in Machhar sector in Kupwara. We knew it in case any post which was helping the terrorists to infiltrate, we used to make sure that that post does not exist next day. So much heavy fire used to be brought. I think we have to change strategy. We may able to handle the situation here, but what about Pakistan? That is the place where we know where are their launch pads, where are their training areas. We have got number of means now. We have a Rafale, we have a Scalp missile, we have drones. We can hit them hard. We should hit them hard. And in case if the post of Pakistani is trying to give a covering fire to these infiltrators and terrorists, we should able to hit them hard. And that's a requirement of the day, because you cannot keep on losing your man. And the Jammu and Kashmir is totally peaceful today, especially in Kashmir Valley. People were so very happy, but such type of incident put you on a back foot. Kabir.
You know what, General Sivach, we are also learning of this new latest information. We've received 2 fresh visuals. We'll try and edit them out and put them on air as well. But the victim here says that the terrorist killed them because they were not Muslim. Seems like the terrorist was checking the IDs of the tourists as well. I wanted to ask you whether this was a symbolic one-off attack, or do you think this is going to brew up into a big pattern before that July Amarnath Yatra is actually going to begin? There are no elections, thankfully, around this time of the year, which is why all the security forces can actually focus on, countering terrorism. But this latest aspect that we're now picking up about IDs being checked, of course, We still have to corroborate this. But if this is the case, what does this tell us?
Of course, this has to be seen. This has to be checked. They be a modus operandi as to try to show off that they are people from security forces trying to know the identity of the tourists before attacking. That is possible, but that need to be seen. But one thing is very important. One must understand that whatever they have done they have done with the purpose that they want to hit the tourism. They want to hit to the common people the message that all is not well, and this will have adverse impact in the Kashmir Valley, and especially the tourists who are there. They bring lot of development in this area. The economy is dependent on tourists, and if the tourists will not come, you will find that the local people will have a hard time. So ultimately, indirectly, they are hitting the local people, and that is where they will need to become more unpopular, and you will find it information flowing, real-time intelligence flowing regarding them, and this will happen in time to come. Kabir.
General Sivach, we've got some of those visuals, and in those first visuals that are now coming out exactly from where this attack took place, you can hear the first responders rushing onto the spot where the tourists can be seen. They've got a little bit of blood on their faces as well, probably because they went to assist the dead tourist over there. At this point in time, these are again visuals. We'll have to edit these out to maintain on-air hygiene, but the first few reactions and dialogues by the first responders are that please stay calm, there's no need to worry, we are here. There was one terrorist that they tried to locate at, and you can hear one of those tourists say that, they killed him because maybe he wasn't Muslim. Again, there is still, the jury is still out. We don't know whether the tourists, the terrorists were out there to get the tourists, trying to check their IDs or not. But the political spectrum is now reacting to it. We've learnt of one tourist that has been killed so far. This is the Baisaran area. This is in Pahalgam, in the Anantnag district. This is in South Kashmir. Pahalgam, a crucial point when you're talking about the Amarnath Yatra that is also expected to begin July onwards. And then again, a prime spot for that Amarnath Yatra to begin. Apart from the fact that Pahalgam seems to be one of those places heavily thronged by the tourists, especially in these summer months when people want some sort of reprieve from the hot temperatures in North India. But then again, you have the terrorist attack that we're now picking up. How many terrorists, how many tourists exactly injured? That is still yet to be ascertained. The police are carrying out their search and cordon operations. Take a look at that. They have intensified. Nobody from Srinagar is also being allowed to move towards South Kashmir as a precaution. The terrorists opened fire on the tourists. One tourist has been killed, at least 6 to 7 others injured. These numbers very well could go up. We still don't know, as a matter of fact. This is an unmotorable area where the attack actually took place. No cars can make their way over there. People usually take horsebacks to view and enjoy the meadows and the picturesque valleys over there as well. But a ghastly, a dastardly attack. Take a look at some of that visuals. We'll play the audio up for you.
गोली मार दी यहाँ पे उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी। आप बोले ना मुझे यहाँ पर थी, क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है उसने उसको गोली मार दी यहाँ पे उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी। आप बोले ना मुझे यहाँ पर थी, क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है उसने उसको गोली मार दी यहाँ पे उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी। आप बोले ना मुझे यहाँ पर थी, क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है उसने उसको गोली मार दी यहाँ पे उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी। आप बोले ना मुझे यहाँ पर थी, क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है उसने उसको गोली मार दी यहाँ पे उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी।
These are visuals on your screens. These are some of the first visuals, News9 exclusive on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. Right from Baisar on top, the tourist place where the exact attack took place. Listen in.
यहाँ पे उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी। आप बोले ना मुझे यहाँ पर थी, क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है उसने उसको गोली मार दी यहाँ पे उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी। आप बोले ना मुझे यहाँ पर थी, क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है उसने उसको गोली मार दी यहाँ पे उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी। आप बोले ना मुझे यहाँ पर थी, क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है उसने उसको गोली मार दी।
On the broadcast here, many thanks for joining us on the broadcast here. Iltija Mufti of the PDP joins us on the broadcast here. Many thanks, Iltija, if you can hear us in the studio here. A dastardly attack that we're picking up. We're learning of in South Kashmir. Your first views on the attack.
Speaking to? Hello?
Hello, Iltija, can you hear us? My name is Kabir Naqvi. News9 studio is in touch with you.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, Iltija, can you help us understand what's going through your mind right now as dastardly attack that we're learning of in South Kashmir?
Well, it's obviously condemnable and it's extremely tragic. And, as you all know, the people of Jammu and Kashmir have they've always welcomed tourists with, open arms. So it is obviously a dastardly attack and there's no place for violence in our society. And it's extremely condemnable.
We don't want to, create that panic in the viewers as well. We know that Pahalgam is, one of those areas heavily thronged by the tourists, Iltija. This seems to be a one-off. What do you think are some broader implications of this attack now?
I think the best thing, even for the media right now, would be to behave in a more responsible manner and not fan any unnecessary speculation that will just cause a lot of confusion and chaos, because as you know, we already have a surge of tourists throughout Jammu and Kashmir, not just in Pahalgam, but throughout the valley. After a long time, you've seen hotel bookings go up. So let's not create any unnecessary sense of panic. Let the Home Ministry that controls law and order here, they run law and order here. Let them come out with, the figures, because right now there is ambiguity about how many people have been killed and how many exactly have been injured, how many are locals and how many are non-locals. So my request to the media would be to steer clear of, creating any unnecessary chaos, confusion through speculation.
All right, Iltija, before you go, what would be your warm message to everybody that's watching this broadcast right now, everybody who's probably thinking about the terrorist attack and the security forces that are carrying out their cordon and search operations? Your message.
My deepest condolences to the families, of the people who've been killed today. And, it's obviously very tragic. You probably had a family who came here, who were seeing Kashmir for the first time in their lives. And it's not ended very well for them, to say the least. So my heartfelt condolences to them. And, I really hope that we can get to the bottom of this. And I hope that the government and the Home Ministry that controls law and order here initiate, an inquiry. They conduct a probe and they get to the bottom of the probe and they find out who is responsible for this attack.
All right. Iltija Mufti of the PDP, many thanks for joining us and helping us out with your insightful inputs on this particular story, this dastardly, ghastly development that we're tracking. Unfortunate news from South Kashmir, Pahalgam in Anantnag district, Baisara on top, the beautiful meadows, and this dastardly attack that has taken place over there. Another video, let's listen in what's happening here.
ये जो ब्रीथ सब है प्रेशर, आप टेंशन मत लो, मेरे पति का बचा लो, हम बचा देगा, कोई बात नहीं, बेहतर करेंगे फोन, जब से मन युवा डिजाइन किया है, ठीक है हम बचा देंगे ना, आप टेंशन मत लो, मैं आ रहा हूँ, मैं कहाँ पे आपका ये हस्बैंड, मैडम ये जो ब्रीथ सब है प्रेशर, आप टेंशन मत लो, मेरे पति का बचा लो, हम बचा देगा, कोई बात नहीं, बेहतर करेंगे फोन, जब से मन युवा डिजाइन किया है.
Well, Hasnain Masoodi, MLA of the National Conference, also with us on the broadcast. Many thanks, Mr. Masoodi, for speaking to News9. What is going through your mind right now? There are so many questions that one has to talk about. But before we do that, what's going on in your mind when you're looking at these visuals of tourists, slain on the ground over there amidst these picturesque valleys and meadows?
Well, it is very painful. I mean, the incident deserves to be condemned. I mean, the strongest words. See, the tourists come here, they contribute to the economy of this. They contribute to the economy of this place, Jammu and Kashmir. And innocent tourists being targeted, nothing can be more painful and more agonizing than this incident. So we condemn the incident. Should not have happened at all. And every step should be taken to just, exclude all chance of such incidents in future.
Mr. Masoodi, the uptick in tourists and their footfall, in the valley is something that everybody's been talking about for the better part of the last half a decade. Do you think this is going to hit the credibility now?
No, I mean, see, put a question mark on our ability to just prevent and just deal with such incidents. So I mean, we have to pull up our socks. We have to make every effort that these incidents do not happen, and we just not only take steps to exclude all chances of such incidents, but take steps to to trace the assailants.
All right. You know what, Mr. Masoodi, because you're closer to the attack site than our studios here in the national capital, can you really give the viewers a better understanding? The NC government also in power. Can you help us understand what kind of operations are the authorities carrying out over there? Are you happy with the swift response of the security forces?
Right now, what we get, what the information we get is that security forces have rushed to the area and they have cordoned off the area, and search operations are being conducted to trace the assailants. But in Jammu and Kashmir, we're confronting a different situation because the political government, the security is not with the government, our government, your national conference government, because it continues to be with the Home Ministry and with the LG administration. So the government, the political government, has no control over police and all other allied agencies. So that makes things more difficult.
Well, not to politicize the entire attack, Mr. Masoodi, I'm going to steer clear, because we must need to talk about what has actually happened on the ground. Some of those first visuals have come out, Mr. Masoodi. I'm sure you must have gotten those visuals on your WhatsApp as well. What went through your mind when you saw some of those visuals? The family standing there, on top of the dead body. The woman is talking about her husband being shot point blank in the head.
It is very painful, but at the same time, the way the locals have just tried to
Well, it seems like we've lost that connection, that line with Mr. Hasnain Masoodi. The National Conference member of Legislative Assembly has dropped, but telling us how painful some of those visuals are. These are some of the first visuals from the attack site. Let's listen into some of those visuals, those videos. The first responders, how did they react when they got there to the spot? Again giving a disclaimer, we've had to edit some of these portions out to maintain on-air hygiene. Take a look.
ये जो भीड़ सब है प्रेशर, आप टेंशन मत लो, मेरे पति का बच्चा लो, हम बचा देगा, कोई बात नहीं, बेहतर करिए फोन दब से मन युवा डिजाइन किया है, ठीक है हम बचा देंगे ना, आप टेंशन मत लो, मैं आ रहा हूँ, मैं कहाँ पे आपका ये हस्बैंड, मैडम ये जो भीड़ सब है प्रेशर, आप टेंशन मत लो, मेरे पति का बच्चा लो, हम बचा देगा, कोई बात नहीं, बेहतर करिए फोन दब से मन युवा डिजाइन किया है, ठीक है हम बचा देंगे ना, आप टेंशन मत लो, मैं आ रहा हूँ, मैं कहाँ पे आपका ये हस्बैंड, मैडम आप बोले ना मुझे
क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी,
यहाँ पे
उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी,
आप बोले ना मुझे
क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी,
यहाँ पे
उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी,
आप बोले ना मुझे
क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी,
यहाँ पे
उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी,
मैडम ये जो भीड़ सब है प्रेशर, आप टेंशन मत लो,
मेरे पति का बच्चा लो,
हम बचा देगा, कोई बात नहीं, बेहतर करिए फोन दब से मन युवा डिजाइन किया है, ठीक है हम बचा देंगे ना, आप टेंशन मत लो, मैं आ रहा हूँ, मैं कहाँ पे आपका ये हस्बैंड, मैडम ये जो भीड़ सब है प्रेशर, आप टेंशन मत लो,
मेरे पति का बच्चा लो,
हम बचा देगा, कोई बात नहीं, बेहतर करिए फोन दब से मन युवा डिजाइन किया है, ठीक है हम बचा देंगे ना, आप टेंशन मत लो, मैं आ रहा हूँ, मैं कहाँ पे आपका ये हस्बैंड, मैडम आप बोले ना मुझे
क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी,
यहाँ पे
उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी,
आप बोले ना मुझे
क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खाली थी, मेरा पति साइड में था, एक इंसान है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी,
यहाँ पे
उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है, उसने उसको गोली मार दी,
आप बोले ना
Well, Mehbooba Mufti of the PDP joins us on the broadcast here. Many thanks, Mufti ji, for speaking to News9. Your first reactions on the dastardly terror attack that we're learning took place in Pahalgam.
Yeah, it's shocking. I mean, attack on innocent tourists who come here to have a nice time, nice peaceful time, and this has come at a time when, the tourist season is at peak, and people are, enjoying. The people here, they are also, getting the benefits of, these visits. And it's a cowardly attack, and it is condemnable. And at the same time, government should look inside what have been the security lapses, because in spite of so much security around, so many policemen, army personnel, everybody around, how could this attack take place? So they need to have a thorough investigation and see to it that such lapses don't take place in future.
There seems to be a little bit of a catch-22 here, Mufti ji, because you see, this is an area that can't be accessed by motorable cars, but on the other hand, it is thronged by tourists in large numbers. How do we secure something like this? How do the security forces secure something like this?
आप जिस व्यक्ति से बात कर रहे हैं, उन्होंने आपके कॉल.
Well, it seems to be a little bit of a technical difficulty with Mehbooba Mufti's phone line over there. Everybody must be dialing up the former Chief Minister of J&K. But we're constantly in touch with all the MLAs, with all the politicians, the security officials on the ground, really trying to understand and get a clear picture of what's happening. Some of those first responder visuals again on your screens. The first responders are local community people over there. They were the first people to get there and extend any kind of help to the tourists over there, completely shaken up, panicking. You can imagine what happens when in the middle of picturesque valleys, an unsuspected assailant tourist appears and starts shooting, firing in the open. At least 2 to 3 people that we see lying down, slain in this video itself. Corroborated numbers yet to come out.
मैं आ रहा हूँ, मैं कहाँ पे आपका ये हस्बैंड मैडम ये जो वहीद साहब है प्रेसिडेंट आप टेंशन मत लो
मेरे पति का बच्चा लो
हम बचा देगा कोई बात नहीं
इस भगवान के लिए बचा लो
दब सिमन युवा डिजाइन किया है ठीक है हम बचा देंगे ना आप टेंशन मत लो मैं आ रहा हूँ मैं कहाँ पे आपका ये हस्बैंड मैडम ये जो वहीद साहब है प्रेसिडेंट आप टेंशन मत लो
मेरे पति का बच्चा लो
हम बचा देगा कोई बात नहीं बेहतर दब सिमन युवा डिजाइन किया है ठीक है हम बचा देंगे ना आप टेंशन मत लो मैं आ रहा हूँ मैं कहाँ पे आपका ये हस्बैंड मैडम ये जो आप बोले ना मुझे
क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खा रही थी मेरा पति साइड में था एक इंसान है उसने उसको गोली मार दी
यहाँ पे
उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है उसने उसको गोली मार दी
आप बोले ना मुझे
क्या बोलते भेलपुरी खा रही थी मेरा पति साइड में था एक इंसान है उसने उसको गोली मार दी
यहाँ पे
उसने बोला कि शायद मुस्लिम नहीं है उसने उसको गोली मार दी
आप बोले ना मुझे
क्या बोलते भेलपुरी
मैडम ये जो वहीद साहब है प्रेसिडेंट आप टेंशन मत लो
मेरे पति का बच्चा लो
हम बचा देगा कोई बात नहीं बेहतर दब सिमन युवा डिजाइन किया है ठीक है हम बचा देंगे ना आप टेंशन मत लो मैं आ रहा हूँ मैं कहाँ पे आपका ये हस्बैंड मैडम ये जो वहीद साहब है प्रेसिडेंट आप टेंशन मत लो
मेरे पति का बच्चा लो
हम बचा देगा कोई बात नहीं बेहतर दब सिमन युवा डिजाइन किया है ठीक है हम बचा देंगे ना आप टेंशन मत लो मैं आ रहा हूँ मैं कहाँ पे आपका ये हस्बैंड मैडम ये जो वहीद साहब है प्रेसिडेंट आप टेंशन मत लो
मेरे पति का बच्चा लो
हम बचा देगा कोई बात नहीं बेहतर दब सिमन युवा डिजाइन किया है ठीक है हम बचा देंगे ना आप टेंशन मत लो मैं आ रहा हूँ मैं कहाँ पे आपका ये हस्बैंड मैडम ये जो वहीद साहब है प्रेसिडेंट आप टेंशन मत लो
मेरे पति का बच्चा लो
हम बचा देगा
Well, the attack took place at Baisaran. These are beautiful meadows. We've been seeing it again and again, thronged by many tourists. This is a meadow that is accessible only by foot or on horseback or ponies. This is where a group of tourists had gone visiting today when the attack took place. At least one tourist has been killed, 6 to 7 grievously injured, but we're saying it again, this number very well could go up. The search and cordon operation by the security forces has intensified. Watch on News9 to bring you all the latest details.
Ball, please.
I am my dear cool.